All right, collectors, guess what? I just finished wrapping up him for a review. Go check that review out. I think you'll like it. I'm getting back into my G.I. Joe Classified reviews. I'm way behind on that, so I've got some time while I wait for some vamp upgrades to get here. So we're going to take a look at that. But today, the focus of the channel or this video is Marauder Gun. An order that I got from Marauder Gun Runners. Now, I heard of this company from several people, and the reason I heard about it was because they were telling me, hey, these guys sell 1/12 scale weapons, and they're not as much as Gridiron. I believe they're an American company as well. I believe. You guys can tell me or correct me down there. Now, the difference between them is price, number one, but Gridiron has got the market cornered on variety. I think Marauder is just starting to put out some things out there. I think they're just starting it, and I'm all about competition as well. So, competition that's good for America and good for us, right? I don't want to compete with slave labor out of Thailand or China. I don't want to compete with that. That's not right. That's on a different level. But if it's two American companies competing against each other, well then, hey, you're on the same playing field at that point. You guys need to duke it out, figure that out. And I'm all about really helping the consumer, right? I'm going to tell you if something, is good for us or not good for us. And I think competition on the same level playing field between two American companies is good competition. So let's take a look at these Marauder guns and what I got. Now, the reason I picked them up again is I want to kind of compare them to some of the things that Gridiron has provided us. Do I have a Gridiron weapon on hand? All right, now that I've found a couple of examples, let's keep going. So, I picked up quite a few weapons from Marauder. Here's a sampling. I don't know what weapon this is. I didn't use it in the Army, but it looked cool. I know a lot of you know more about weapons than I do. There was a subset of weapons that I used, and that's it. That's what I stuck with. So you guys feel free to correct me in the comments. My feelings won't get hurt, because I'm always willing to learn. I think that's the way it goes. Maybe I'm crazy. Hold on. I'm trying to get this to fit right. Am I doing this wrong? I wish one day I could tell you a funny story about what happened to me in a weapon when I first got to the Army. Anyways, this is one of the weapons I got. It looked really cool. I think it's got a bendable stock. It's kind of an SMG type weapon. So anyways, here's one that I got. Let's look at another one real quick. Put this back there. Picked up a few examples. Oh yeah, this one. Holy moly, look at this thing. Look at all the pieces to this one. So this one has a magazine in it. The stock is not foldable. But then they also had this. I was really interested in this as well. Look at all those little pieces, right? Here's the weapon. This looks like an AR. Let's see. Oh, look. See, there's little holes right there. I believe this goes up here. You guys can correct me later. Say, oh man, you done messed up again. That's not where it goes. See how easy it is to put in there with my big old fat fingers. Man, it's kind of tough. Might have to fast forward through this part. All right, I didn't have to fiddle with it too much. So it's you get an accessory piece for the light, I guess, here, and then the sight. Come on now, use your words. The sight and the grip up here at the top, and then you get your magazine. And let's see if I can put this in here correctly. There you go. And you've got little holes, so you can move that around, kind of like a little rail system. So there it is. It looks pretty sharp. So there's that one. Let's see, what else did we get? No, I got several examples. Let's see, what else? Or did I get just a bunch of those? I really dug those. They look really great. That. Okay, this one's different. Yeah, this one's a little different. Let's look at this one. This seems like a different kind of weapon, more higher caliber, I guess. I don't know. It looks stockier. Still kind of, no, not AR-ish. I don't know. Let's put all these little things on it. Let's see if I can do this without cutting away. See, you got a little peg hole right there. You see it? That one went in much easier. Take this little guy, put it back here. Only problem, look at that. Only problem is it's gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be an issue. It's a little loose. Well, let's see how loose. I'm assuming, well, that's loose too. I am assuming though, with a little bit of, that one's nice and tight. And then here's the silencer, I guess. Yeah, that was all right. So there it is put together. I like that you have all those little pieces that you can actually equip it with. But, hold on. 1 second. All right, so I just added some sticky tack. You can kind of see it down there to it. I would actually, what I would do for these weapons is I might actually just use some super glue and then just do it that way. Unless you want to reconfigure them, then use sticky tack and you could, you know, use them that way. Now these actually feel like, and I hate to say this, but like I said, I don't hate to say this, it is what it is. It's not, you know, I'm here for you guys. I'm not here for, like I said, nobody pays me anything for this stuff, you know, and Gridiron doesn't pay me. Nobody pays me for this, and I don't get any sponsorships from anybody. This is just me sharing the hobby. So, and I don't hate to say this, it is what it is. I'll let you guys know. This weapon feels a lot like these weapons. Do you guys know what these are? These are Valaverse weapons, and they are very stiff, and they are very straight. They feel way more quality than this. Where is it? Where is that disaster of a weapon? This is Hasbro. this mockery. This is Valaverse. You can't really bend it. It's nice and tight. It's nice and hard. This is hard plastic. This is Marauder. And the detail on it is really good. It's really great detail. Now, here's where, this is now Gridiron recently just sent me something like this, which I hope that's not an indication of future use of weapons. This is what Gridiron's regular use of weapons is. It's nice. It's somewhat bendy, but it's way stiffer than these two examples here, than these two limp noodle weapons. These are, you know, usually Gridiron, the vast majority, I've only had that one be like that. The vast majority of Gridiron weapons are, you know, they're a little bendy, but they're not super bendy, you know? You got to really torque on them to bend them. So, and these are just stiff. If you try to bend these are going to break. The Valaverse ones and the Marauder Gun ones, they're just stiff, and they're just going to break if you try to bend them. So, I brought him out here because this Valaverse figure is going to get himself a brand new weapon. Oh man, I didn't bring his trigger. Daggum. I didn't bring his, ooh, Bobby, that hand is tight. All right, that's fine. Let's get it in there. I didn't bring his shooter hand out here. Let's see if I can get it in there without breaking stuff. There we go. Anyways, that's what he looks like with it. I think it scales really well, actually. I wish I'd have brought a trigger hand. But there he is, looking super cool with his glasses, aviators. Let's try it on a Joe. Let's put these on a Joe. Here's his, this weapon. This one doesn't bend as badly, but it's not bad. That one's not bad. I want to give him this one, though. I think this one will look cooler. And now you guys are going to tell me, hey, that's the weapon from North Korea. Oh, did you see that? Look at this. That's something that's new. You see that? Just broke off the trigger. Well, that's a problem. See, that's what I mean. If you try to bend these, they're just going to break. But that trigger was so small. I mean, it was so thin. That was just doomed to break. And I don't mind, actually. I don't mind it popping off. I think they should have just made it a solid piece rather than that little sliver of a plastic. That was just going to break. But man, that looks way better. I think I'm going to leave this airborne with this weapon. It looks great. Well, what do I think? Now, these are way more cost effective than some of the weapons from Gridiron. I mean, you could probably buy, I think these are like $2 or $3 versus Gridiron sometimes $12 or $10. Guys, Gridiron. You know what? I want to talk about one last thing. Somebody in the comments had said, you know, it was real interesting. I could tell that, you know, they were younger. They said, and I get it. You know, you want your product quick, and there's, sometimes there's no excuse for companies not delivering on the product. But I think in this case, Gridiron, Marauder Gun Runners, the smaller companies. To me, like I said, I always give them a wider berth when it comes to this stuff. And I'll tell you why. Because I think what Gridiron is trying to do, and what any responsible type of company would do, is if you can do one of two things, but you need to be very careful. Number one, if you're going to grow, then you need to grow purposefully. So, and I tell you why, because I've been through these iterations of business before. If you grow a company like an idiot, super fast, hire a bunch of people, and it's only for a specific, period of time, like, you have to be smart about these things, and you have to grow the company in a purposeful way, because if you hire too many people, promise too many families money or a living, and then guess what? 9 months later, the VAMP train has run out. You've upgraded all the upgrades. The hype has run out. Hasbro isn't producing anymore. Let's just say you've hitched yourself to that or something else. Hasbro's no longer doing that. Now what are you going to do? The demand might be tempered a little bit. The demand might have been pulled back a little bit, right? So what are you going to do with those families that now it's turning into a little bit of a ramp, but you need to understand, because this is a third party type system, I need you guys to understand some of these things. Well, now what are you going to do that you've ramped up your production? You've got 8 times more employees than you actually need. And they have now, and their families are now on your shoulders for them to be able to provide for their families. And they came to you for work and they said, we believe in this thing, let's do it. Well, you as a leader should have been smart enough to know, hey, you know what? We're only going to need to ramp up for this particular period of time. And for the long haul, I think we can add another 2 or 3 people worth of business that we'll get from this bump in business. So instead of hiring 8 to nicely sail through this bump in business, why don't we just hire 2 or 3, struggle for a little bit to get through it, pay the overtime that we need to and move through it, and then we're back to business as usual. We'll continue to grow. When we hit another one of those and more people know about us, we'll add another 2 or 3 employees, purposefully growing with the company, not overextending yourself, not overhiring, because you know what happens if you don't purposefully grow your company? Who's ever been impacted by layoffs? Who's ever been impacted by, well, there's nothing else for you to do here. Have a great day. That's what happens when you grow a company without any kind of plan, and then all of a sudden, oh crap, what are we going to do? Now, there is an alternative to all this. And the alternative to that is if Gridiron or some of these third-party companies hire contractors, right? When you make a deal with a contractor, you say, look, I've got this temporary type of work to do. You can profit by it from a little bit of time. We'll profit by it because we're going to meet this demand. And then, I want it to be upfront. You're going to go when we're done. We're just going to be straight with each other. If there's continues to be work, well, then maybe the contractors can at some point become full-time employees. Who knows? But that's something that you'll have to deal with down the line. And you won't put yourself or the people that you've hired in a situation where now you've endangered people's livelihoods. That's bad. That's bad business. So from my point of view, when a company purposefully grows and employs people purposefully to do the right thing smartly to grow the business, that's where it needs to be. So just remember that. Don't, as a smart businessman, you just wouldn't hire, oh, we're stuck in work, we're not going to struggle, we're just going to hire 50 people when you only might have needed 10 or 12, right? Because then you're gonna impact those other people's lives. Anyways, that's a lot more than I want to talk about. But what I wanted to get into that so that you can understand that you could be completely irresponsible and silly when you're growing a company, overextend yourself and put yourself in a bad situation and impact other people's lives in a bad way. Or you could purposefully, smartly grow your organization into a larger business so that you can insulate yourself from some of these outward influences and continue to depend on yourself and a diversity of demands to keep those people and yourself growing and expanding and getting money. So profit is good, but profit being an idiot is bad. I don't know how better to put it. Be smart about how you grow your business. And I think Gridiron's doing it smartly. I think a lot of these companies, except for Hasbro. Hasbro, boy, you goofed up pretty bad there. You laid off a bunch of people, and that was, you did what you had to do, but that was dumb. You really hurt people when you did that, Hasbro. It's not laughing. It's not a laughing matter. Hasbro really screwed up when they laid that many people off because, the fact of it was they thought that COVID times were going to last forever. Party time, COVID. No, people did that because they have nowhere to go. But now that the world's opened back up, people have more interest. Now you only have the hardcore collectors and everybody else is playing around out there. Anyway, I've digressed into a whole other area or realm. But I just wanted to be clear about that. When there's costs and everything involved into growing a business, you can't just go, 30 employees, let's go. No, you need to be smart about things when you're growing and also in order to insulate yourself from reducing, right? So guys, do I recommend Marauder's weapons? Heck yeah. I'm gonna go buy some right now so that when you guys watch this video, you don't take them all from me. Do I recommend Gridiron? Yeah, but they're a little pricier, but they have the market cornered on the variety. I think Gridiron weapons are good, but I like how stout Valaverse and Marauder guns are. I'm still a big fan of Gridiron though. As you can see, I'm still buying their stuff. I'm still a big fan. Some of the things that they do cannot be done anywhere else. So they've got that market cornered, but I really like the option of a better value as well. So that's all I wanted to say today. Guys, thank you so much for listening. If you've gotten this far listening to my silliness and shenanigans, maybe you can continue to do so. Maybe this is a fun channel and you guys can, we can continue to grow the channel. And I'd appreciate a like. I'd appreciate a subscribe if you feel like it. So once again, don't forget about the giveaway. I'll put a link up here somewhere. Thank you for joining me on this channel, on this journey. It's been fun. Yeah, I thought I'd get back to the basics on the G.I. Joe stuff. So guys, thanks so much for watching. And as always, as long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep rolling these out.